welcome to the stream. My name is Noah Walter, and you are joining me live here for the WEAG Designs at the Glen. This historic 7-turn road course here in New York State, my home track, is here to put on a fantastic show for all of the CASCAR Shorter Plumbing Cup Series crew. 7 turns, as I said, here in historic New York State. This track has been in place in a permanent course since 1956, so we are in a very time-honored place where Formula One used to host the United States Grand Prix, and NASCAR has been racing for a very, very long time. We have just rounded out qualifying here at this track. We have 60 laps ahead of us here for the WEAG Designs at the Glen. Of course, have to give a huge thank you to WEAG Designs, where you can get all of your fantastic iRacing and multimedia paints and other things done. WEAG Designs puts on a fantastic show for that. You can find them wherever you can find Equipment Geek stuff, such as on Instagram and I believe on Twitter as well. We'll get some more information on that as we roll forward, but also got to give a huge thank you to Shorter Plumbing and Pierce Graphics, who helped put on our fantastic stream. So with that, let's go ahead and head on into the stream now, and we'll see how qualifying went for our guys here. Starting on pole position, it's going to be defending race winner Brian Fradienne in the number 81 Victos Toyota Camry. Alongside, it's going to be high contender there, the 98 of Stephen Black. He's here to definitely put on a very competitive show, so watch out for these two, your fastest guys. Row number 2 on the inside lane, it's going to be fellow Equipment Geek driver to Brian. It's Brandon Fiedler in the number 39. He's going to be in the Moo Machine. You can keep an eye out for that distinctive cow-colored vehicle. And then alongside is going to be the number 55 of Jeffrey Belk, also for Equipment Geek. He's going to be here on a redemption arc here tonight, hoping to get himself back up onto the top step of the podium after a very unfortunate end to his race last season. Row number 3 inside lane goes to the number 41 of Richard Drake, here to put on a great show, of course. And alongside, it's going to be the number 28 of Paul Ems, a surprising road course ringer, as we have started to see here in the CASCAR Shorter Plumbing Cup Series. Paul can really start to put on some of these shows later into the season. In the next row, row number 4 inside lane is going to go to another road course guy to watch out for, the number 34 of Kyle Mundell, with surprise of Wes Gallo in the 07 alongside, and he's going to be showing some local support with Burnside Brews on his vehicle. I say surprise for Wes, though, because he's not usually the guy you think of when it comes to very strong road course performance here in the CASCAR Shorter Plumbing Cup Series, but he is here to put on a great show for us all. I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do. Inside lane for row number 5 is going to go to Rob Carl in the number 2 with Greg Snowgrove in the 22 alongside. We're going to keep an eye on those two specifically just because of their numbers and of the real-life NASCAR Watkins race that happened last season. Row number 6 inside lane goes to the 86 of Michael Jennings with Tyler Hallahan bringing up 12th position in the 88 alongside. Row number 7 inside lane goes to the fantastic number 3 of Matt Malavani, a fellow friend of the channel and other streamer. You can tell it is him by his distinctive yellow Wrangler vehicle here tonight, and alongside it's going to be the 18, the Interstate Batteries, Patrick Coluccio. Finally, bringing up the rear of the pack, it is going to be Ashton Rieke, Michael Sparks, and Will Cloud, who do not have their times put up on the board aside from Ashton. You can see they're in 15th place. We have a bit of a graphical issue here tonight. We're going to be seeing on our leaderboards that is not a fault that we can fix here on our end, unfortunately. It is something that does have to be adjusted in the league settings, but that should definitely be fixed by next race, as it has been instantly brought to our attention. With that, though, the iRacing.com pace truck pulls off here at Watkins Glen as Brian Fradienne takes us down the front stretch. It's green flag as we race down into turn number 1. This is the scariest spot of the entire track. It's lap 1, turn 1, and it looks like we survive. Fantastic. Off of turn number 1, we start going. All right, here it is, the second scariest spot, the S's. Edge of your seat right now is the time to this is where everyone needs to be. This is where everyone is all bunched up together. turn number 7, heading back down through the front stretch. We have completed our first lap here at Watkins Glen. Oh man, it's great to see this track here on the Ice.com service once again. Of course, this time fully updated since last we were here, last season here in the CASCAR Short Plumbing Cup Series. They have completely rescanned and redone turn 1 and the exit off of the carousel, otherwise known as the outer loop, allowing this to be an even better racing circuit with some part updates overall. So really, this track looks completely better since we were here last. Brian Fradian continues to lead, however, he's still under constant pressure there from Stephen Black in the 98 behind. Keep in mind, over the last several races, Stephen has been right up there and challenging for race wins and lead. However, he is not in the playoffs, did not make it to the end, has continued to try to be an upset in that regard this entire time, despite not being in the overall championship. Now, I'm sure as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, I did say that there was a graphical glitch earlier on that we could not fix, and because it's not an issue on our end. And there it is. You can see just about everybody there is a P on the left-hand side of your screen. Those indicate playoff drivers. Following along with the number 81, Brian Fradian, who's currently leading. You can tell who, if you have paid attention with us for a very long time, you can see who is where on the left-hand side because of the numbers. Brian Fradian leading, for example. Brandon Fiedler, though, here in the 39 Moo Machine. He's going to be referred to as our cow car. Skipping the wall there, I believe. As he continues to lead ahead of his teammate Jeffrey Milton with the P5. Your top 4 has not adjusted. However, you can see Paul Ems here in the number 28 has definitely started to catch up to this lead cars ahead. He was actually incredibly fast in practice, able to put up some very competitive times, including a high of 2nd place. So Paul definitely has a lot of pace built up in that Valvoline Chevrolet, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on him as we continue to roll through the night. And Watkins Glen. Richard Drake behind him. It's been a little while since we have seen him there in his newest Toyota Camry. We know that he has done well before, and I believe he can continue that luck here on road courses if he can keep it rolling forward. Something we have not seen too often these last several races. Kyle Mundell coming up for the pass, so you can see it is Movember. Number 34 Chevrolet for Grand River Racing goes down to the inside. Can he get the pass done? Not have the run to do so. Ooh, looks like Matt Malavaglia spun off of turn number 6. You can see there. He said that he switched over to the Wrangler Jeans Chevrolet specifically because he wanted to make sure everyone can see him out on track because it is yellow. Some of your guys that I know have been struggling with this here tonight are going to be Malavaglia, Sparks, and Ashton Reiki. See Ashton, Sparks driving over just a little bit. Ooh, another spin out of Malavaglia there into turn number 1. As they said, as I was talking to a little bit before the stream had started with these guys, keeping it on the gray is the absolute ideal thing to do. Gray good, green bad, blue even worse. See Patrick Colucci running there. The 18 trying to put on, the best performance he can. He said that his main strategy tonight is to just survive, keeping the car pointing straight and just driving as best as he can to make sure that he does not get slowed down by himself spinning. And I think that is a very valuable strategy to have, especially leading up to the stage, if you can keep your car just going forward. Michael Jennings, another driver who I know has been struggling a little bit, but he's definitely got himself in a better position so far, as long as he can keep that car pointed straight, and he's definitely doing so far. He wanted me, and a little bit of me too, wanted to bring this to attention. The thing on his car, he's currently supporting the volunteer firefighters of New York, where on April 23rd and 24th, you're going to be able to join out just about anywhere in New York State, if I'm not mistaken, to a volunteer firefighting. Wow, can't say that tonight. Volunteer firefighting department, and show some support and potential recruitment as well. So, gotta think Jennings. Into the wall there for Patrick Colucci. Off the exit of the S's, they roll down the back stretch. He's got this okay. Now, one of the things, if you're not familiar with stock car racing on road course, or even just a road course racing in general for the most part, ooh, big slide there out of West Gallo. Can he hold on to it? He does, just barely. Snowgrim's going to pass him for the position there. Big slide there out of the outer loop. But when it comes to road course racing, yellows are handled differently than ovals. On an oval, when there's an accident or debris on the racetrack, they will often throw the caution flag and everybody will slow down and start pacing. That does not happen here on a road course for the majority of time. If you get a full safety car, and I think it's the best way to say that, you will see that everybody does eventually slow down. But most of the time it is done in specific sectors or turns, and that's what we're seeing here tonight, where a yellow flag will be thrown just for a specific turn, depending on who is spun where. Easy recovery there for Westgall as he keep pushing forward. A teammate of Glen chasing behind. Will is able to finish in third last week, hoping to continue his podium position run going forward. Catching back up to our leaders, we see Brian Fradien, defending race winner, has currently been able to continue leading here at Watkins Glen. He's got a very good grip on this circuit. We know that from last time. The amount of pace that he had built up in that car is incredible. But someone looking for some redemption, though, has to be the number 55 of Jeffrey Bell, who unfortunately spun in the top of the S's after the stage, so he is hoping to not repeat that and to keep himself going forward. And it looks like he definitely has a lot of pace still in that Ford Media Toyota Camry. Diving down to the inside, it's going to be Brandon Fielder going for the pass on Stephen Black. He makes it. It's now an EG 1-2. Oh, big slide there out of Stephen Black, able to recover it. That's allowing Jeffrey to get very close to him now. This is also giving a chance for the rest of your crew to keep on catching up. First through eighth are probably the closest guys together right now. You see Rob Carl there in the two, currently trying to chase down. He's investigating a slide there on the S's as well, as he tries to chase down the 34, Kyle Mundell. That Movember number 34 Chevrolet has had some very interesting luck this season, including a high of second over in iRacing Superspeedway as he's been chasing his first win. He knows that he has a lot of road course experience, and this is the time to prove it. Make sure you get to the end first, so not completely destroying your tires. Trying to get there is the name of the game I think he is trying to play for now. Richard Drake ahead in sixth, however, currently trying his best to catch up to Paul Lemms. He's been able to close up that gap after the last several laps. And speaking of gaps, this is probably about the best time we're ever going to have to use it. It is our battle forecast from Pierce Graphics, who has provided us with some fantastic overlays over the past, 2 years at this point, if I'm not mistaken. We're getting into now. But, of course, with Chris, though, he has provided our battle forecast, and we should be able to use that now in fairly decent quality as well. Uh-oh. Hearing some wrecking ahead. Oh, spin. Uh-oh. Several cars yellow in the area. Oh, that is a huge pileup. That might even be a full course yellow. How bad that accident is. I have a feeling, though, with how we saw that play out. Oh, that definitely looks like a full course yellow. We'll be right back. Alright, we have your incident here. Let's go and bring it up. We're going through the S's right now, following along with number 42 of Michael Sparks. See him, he comes up. Oh, looks like Brandon tries to throw it down on the inside. Just gets the door absolutely closed in on him. Sparks comes down. Oh, man, that is a terrible position to be in. Stephen Black barely makes it through. Collision into Jeffrey Belka as well. Into the wall. Oh, man. Absolutely devastating. Drake tries to slow down. Instantly gets into Paul Lemms as well. Comes back up into Mundell. Carl involved as well. Oh, that is just about your entire leaders all involved in that incident. Your top 8 just about, minus your front leader there, Brian Fradien. Every single one of them involved, 2nd through 8th. And then last place of Michael Sparks there in the 42. Wow. All right, that is our, I think, event of the night, hopefully. See your leader, Brian Fradien, continuing to lead here. Looks like Steve was able to get away okay. You know, we did take a little bit of damage, but You can see some damage there on Jeffrey Belk there on his left-hand side, most specifically, but a bit of the right as well, due to some resulting impacts. Yep. Unfortunate. That is a very bad position to be in. But it's the S's are hard. If you're not a road course ringer, and I know that Sparks has said that he is not since he has started here in the CASCAR Short Filming Cup Series, especially since Road America. I think it shows. Paul M's up to 4th, though, with that one. This is the time to see a lot of your guys pitting in, and that is quite specifically due to the fact that many of them have damage. So if you're actually in the rear end of this field, if you're Greg Snowgrove on back, this is a fantastic opportunity to get yourself into a higher position based on what's going to happen next. Yep, you can see just about everybody rolling on in. This is also a good time for tire sets as well if you choose to take them. Yep, that is literally everybody headed down pit road. I do not blame them. Oh, not everybody. Patrick Coluccio decides to stay out. That is a brave decision there for Patrick Coluccio, which is going to be warranting him a bring up here because everybody else is on pit road. Let's go ahead and grab Patrick and see what his thoughts are. Patrick's open the booth. They read me. Well, you're currently the only driver that didn't go down pit road, so congratulations, you've got yourself up here.
Yeah, I did it. No, I'm gonna pit next lap. I was like, oh, everyone's pitting, so maybe I can get a lap, but I reacted way too late.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that was the thought behind it all, but that's what happened.
Well, how is your race going so far?
Honestly, I'm just trying to keep the other side down. So, trying to keep the roof facing the sky, and not my head facing the ground. So.
Well, I mean, so far you've done an okay job. You did not get involved in that huge 6-car accident.
Well, that's what happens when you're like 8 seconds back.
I mean, it's an opportunity to gain positions.
Oh, I'm definitely about to pit. Yeah, it was, but I was too far back, and I'm about to pit anyway. So.
Yeah, I suppose. Still, I mean, I know that you say yourself that you're not a road course ringer here, but you've been able to keep the car fairly straightforward. Is this a big accomplishment, or is this one of those tracks that you can really just string together if you try hard enough?
I think if you just try hard here, because like there's certain if you miss any throttle sensitivity at all by way a little too much, you're gonna go around here because it's so narrow. There's not enough wall forgiveness. So.
Gotcha. What would be your advice to someone that just wants to start here on iRacing with road course racing and stock cars?
I definitely recommend the MX-5s, and with these I recommend the late models or the modifieds to kind of get used to how power works and stuff. So,
all right.
It's all up to anyone who wants to start on the pavement side of things. That's what I'd recommend.
Fellow dirt track racer here, of course, I have to throw a bit of a slight there on asphalt. So, Patrick, thank you much for your time. I certainly do appreciate it. Who do you have to thank for your race car here tonight?
I'm just gonna thank all the guys over at ADM. I'm going to thank Highline Racing, Greg for putting this on and helping us throughout the week. He really does a lot for us to make sure we at least have where we feel comfortable enough to race. But, just thankful Kyle, Matt, Paul, Tyler, all those guys. So, all that.
Well, thank you once again, Patrick, and good luck.
Yep, thanks.
Number 18, Patrick Coluccio in the Interstate Batteries Chevrolet. Rob Carl is going to be taking the lead off of this start. Able to have a fantastic pit stop. Lap number 30 will be our stage. So currently a third through the race. Third minus a lap, I guess you could say. A lot of damage repair for many of these drivers, so that is going to be especially if they took fast repairs. I do believe Jeffrey Belk has taken a fast repair. That is a very risky move, especially with how the race could go forward in any direction, really. Several drivers, you can tell, did take manual damage repair. I believe Kyle Mundell is one of them, currently sitting down in 13th position. Some of those bumps on the car still, he did not want to take his fast repair off that one. It's not worth it. Which is a very respectful decision in my mind. So this is definitely a bit of a tricky track. For those that do not know the corner names or the numbers or just about anything, that very big right-hander that they just came out of is known as the outer loop or a carousel. This stretch here, the second back stretch, is known as the chute. We'll be heading into turn number 6. 7 turns here at Watkins Glen. Different configuration than it used to be all those years ago when it was first opened as a permanent course in 1956, a street course before then in 1946, if I know my facts correctly. Alright, out of turn 7 they go into the front stretch. It's going to be Rob Carl taking the green flag any moment. There it is, green flag, and away we go here at Watkins Glen. A fantastic start for that inside lane. The two absolutely flying away. Jeffrey Belk has a great position on the bottom if he can hold on to it. To the outside they go, almost in rear end pack there from Fradian into the 2, and it's going to be Jeffrey Belk taking the lead off of the turn exit. There he goes. It's going to be Jeffrey Belk trying to check out as much as he can for now. Rob Carl, a very big contender in terms of the playoffs. Currently sitting in third in terms of playoff points, while Jeff is sitting in second. It's going to be our previous leader, Brian Fradian, sitting in the lead in terms of playoff points. Jeff is a known road course driver, participates in as many endurance races, if not just about all of them, here on the IRC.com Motorsport Simulation Service. Brian Fradian is another one of those drivers as well. Most of EQ Racing does much of road racing, so that's why they are usually so competitive here. They have just tons of on-track experience. Flying by, Rob Carl goes Brian Fradian, but Rob is not going to give it up that easily. Paul Ems still able to maintain a 4th position. Going to be trying his best to chase down Rob as best as he can to get onto that podium position. He's been hunting for a podium once again. It has been a while since he has last gotten one. Same with Richard Drake, though, as those two are going to be trying to battle each other and Rob for the position. Greg Snellgrove, who was previously running in, I believe, 9th, is now up into 7th with his 22 Wildcard Chevrolet. Chasing down Wes Gallo in front of him, who's been able to put on a great show so far there in the 07 WEAG Designs Burnside Brews machine. Burnside Brews is a local New York brewery, so he's going to be showing his New York support. Another New Yorker here, Wes Gallo is. I was making a joke a bit earlier on about watching out for Rob Carl and Greg Snellgrove as they are the 2 and 22. If you are not sure what I am referring to, there was an accident this past NASCAR race in Watkins Glen where Brad Keselowski spun on turn number 1, taking out his teammate at the time of Joey Logano. It was a very amusing thing that I got to watch live, but a lot of position changes right there. For a lot of these guys, many bunching up. That's going to be Paul Ems now up into 3rd position as he was able to fight by Rob Carl, who has lost now 2 positions to Ems and Drake. 2 wide racing for a lot of these guys a bit further back. Oh, spin there for Wes Gallo off of turn number 1. He's going to be falling back through the field now as he was able to recover fairly quickly. Unfortunate is now Tyler Hallahan is going to be coming up to try to contend for the position. Tyler, winning fantastic practice run, is not doing so hot right now. He was able to outperform his teammate of Greg Silver previously, but now is currently struggling. He says himself that he's not good on these road courses, but he was doing quite well, so we're going to have to keep an eye on him as we continue rolling forward. Waddell, who was sitting down in 13th, has made a recovery up into 9th. Getting some pressure from Will Cloud behind, though, in the number 48 Pierce Graphics Toyota Camry. Snellgrove now up into 6th position. This is his chance to strike, trying to catch back up to several cars up ahead and get more positions. He is in a desperate spot in terms of playoff points. Actually, many drivers are. Your bottom 3 are Richard Drake, Greg Snellgrove, and Tyler Hallahan, all of which need to contest severely getting into the positions. Rob Carl thankfully has a position to burn, essentially, this race, but he does not want to probably waste it here. Oh, slow car off the exit. It's Brian Fradian. As a very strong road course racer, this is one of those instances where we actually have to rewind and see what happened to Brian there in the 81 Victos Toyota Camry. It is not often that we see a very competitive driver such as Brian suddenly lose it out of nowhere. Alright, we head it back in now. We're following along with Brian, the 81 Victos Toyota Camry, as we enter turn number 1. He was running in second place. Oh, does he just lock up? Takes the exit out of 1 just a bit fast, and it's going to be, yep, takes it just a bit fast. Too early on the throttle and into the curbing there. Unfortunate for Brian. Very unfortunate, especially hits the wall. Ooh. As a tire barrier, though, it does look like he was able to recover fairly well off that one. He stayed down to let everybody by. He's not going to be fighting back for positions once again. Jumping back up to live, you can see that now. Up into 10th after he was able to pass his teammate Weskello. He's going to be trying to hunt down Will Cloud. Jeffrey Belk, though, has been able to maintain the lead for these last 5 laps since we've gone green once again after that big pileup that we just passed by the original location of. 6 cars were involved in that massive incident here at Watkins Glen. Absolutely huge. However, that does change up something, though, and that puts Paul Ems up into second position with Richard Drake in third behind. I think these two are very happy to be where they are, but I think they're going to continue scrapping for second, as that is a lot of points these guys do want. It's especially important for Richard Drake behind Paul Ems, as he is looking for those desperate playoff points as he's sitting third down. Ems unfortunately knocked out of the round of 12 last race. He's going to have a very big recovery going forward now, as he is going to be able to contend for regular season points. Snowgrove, another driver that really does need to contend for those playoff points. A top 5 is exactly what he's looking for, especially with a lot of other playoff drivers behind him there in that 2 Chevrolet. However, to remain competitive, he will have to get a higher position if he wants to make sure he remains in this playoff championship. He is on the hunt for his original playoff trophy that he was able to, not just playoff trophy, but championship trophy that he was able to get in the first season of CASCAR, which we unfortunately did not broadcast here on TV/Warlow. But we're able to get season number 2 by Stephen Black. So as we continue to hunt forward, this is Greg's opportunity to hope to get that championship once again. Just losing out the championship, though, is going to be Jeffrey Belk from last season, so he is going to be on a tear, trying to make sure he can try and get it this season there in the 55 Toyota Camry. One of the big changes here at Watkins compared to last season was iRacing actually updated how the exit of the outer loop is. That is actually a whole paved area that you're able to see now. It was not last time we were here last season. So the fact that it is completely up to date means these drivers can actually use that extra runoff and make a good run for speed. Slide there on to turn number 7 for Richard Drake in the Laker News Kinetic Toyota Camry. It's got a drive ahead of him. Alright, it's been a few laps now. Let's go and see what our battle forecast has to say between himself and Paul Ems, and it's a similar pace. Alright, that just shows how competitive these two have been. Figuring as this is a road course, this is exactly what the battle forecast is meant for, and the fact that they've been able to remain competitive with each other this long just shows how good of road course drivers these two really are. Paul Ems, someone we do not often think of as the road course guy, but it looks like he is definitely going to be showing that off here tonight as best as he can. Greg Snellgrove, another one of those guys we do not often think of the road course ringers, but here he is, another driver for Great White North, making his show. Stephen Black able to go on a recovery, though, able to get himself back up into 4th position. He did get absolutely clobbered in that big accident many laps ago now. But he's been on a tear heading forward, and you can see just how much pace he's been able to recover. Brian Fadienne, who was originally leading this race many laps ago, currently up into 7th position. He has been on the move. Looks like a little bit more damage than we thought, as he lost the hood off of that incident. However, we know that he does have the faster car. He was not involved in the big car incident on lap number 8. So he does need to take the faster car if he can, but he may be saving it, as it looks like he definitely still has a lot of speed built up in that car. down your order now. We're going to follow along with Rob Carl, who is really contending for some high-level positions up here, but it looks like I think he did not take tires on that last pit stop. Tires are a huge game changer here with the stock. Whoa! Who was that? Michael Jennings. Take a rewind off of that one. Hate to rewind like that on stream, but whoa. Big slide there out of the S's. Clobbers into the wall, and oh, don't tell me iRacing grabs him. No, it doesn't. Oh, it does. There it is. Oh, goodness. Unfortunate for the 86 team. Jeffrey Belk now has a 5-second gap to Richard Drake behind, who is able to get by Paul M. Stephen Black also on the move as well, able to make up tons of ground. Let's see how long it's going to be until he passes M's. It won't be long now, I do believe. Or it could be very long with that one. Supposedly in 11 laps. I think that's a hair long, but we do know that the speed out of these two is very fast. Alright, so continues. There he is going down through the bottom. Paul did not want to put up too much of a fight with him. See how that is going to be playing out here with Drake ahead. Steven now up into your top three. Watch that relative to your leader on the left-hand side change as we go through, because I think it will be dropping compared to your leader, as Stephen Black has a lot of pace built up in that car. Alright, supposedly within 15 laps for Richard Drake ahead. We're going to be seeing how that goes. Alright. Look further back once again. Just inside your top 10. It's going to be the 07 of West Gallo with the Burnside Brews as a secondary sponsor. And as you can see, as the primary, it's WEAG Designs, our primary sponsor for this race. WEAG Designs puts on fantastic paints and just about any kind of multimedia thing you can find, including Helmet Stalker and a few others, all of which all their social medias can be found online. We have to give them a huge thank you for all of the work that they do, not just here for the CASCAR Shooter Plumbing Cup Series, but they do for us here with Formula Media as well. So thank you to WEAG Designs for helping put on this race here at Watkins Glen and making it a special one. Also, of course, have to give a huge thank you to Schroeder Plumbing, who is our primary sponsor for our entire season and for our playoffs. As you see Matt Malavani there off in the runoff for turn number 6. Schroeder Plumbing is a family-run company business that has been in business for over 50 years in the southeastern Wisconsin area. They specialize in residential new construction and remodeling plumbing services. They also work with several local builders or with those hoping to build their dream home and do their own remodeling. Give them a call at their office number 262-971-0401. That number once again is 262-971-0401. Schroeder Plumbing. Greg Snowgrove was able to get alongside and past Paul Ems for 4th position. Now the question will become, will we be able to get up there to Steven? That is going to be a tricky challenge, especially between the two of them, as Steven has a lot of road course experience, as you've been able to see with the amount of pace he's able to get by with these guys. But Richard Drake's been able to hold on to a strong 2nd position since he was able to get alongside Ems for it. They've been slowly closing in to Delk ahead. Question is, will they be able to get it in time for the stage? I do doubt it. Once again, on the completion of lap number 30, will be our stage. Slide there out of Paul Mims as Brian Fradian continues on his push forward. I think Brian at this point is really waiting for that stage to come out as he'll finally be able to make another push for the lead, especially with the pit stop. been on a tear this entire race, including the damage. He has now one simple mistake at this track can absolutely bite you, and that's what happened to him. So you see him now on the inside of Paul M's here throughout the outer loop as he runs through and gets the position. It's going to be Brian Fradian back into the top 5. Brandon Fiedler, another driver that held on to the lead for this race for just a lap, but was able to get himself into second position for quite a while and was able to do a great job of it. So he's unfortunately involved with a massive pile-up incident. Currently sitting in 8th position as he chases down Kyle Mundell, who also got kicked out of the playoffs. He does still have his playoff stuff on. I am referring to Kyle, not Brandon, for that. But Kyle definitely is going to have to continue to want to put on a show. As Paul Ems runs wide off of turn number 1 and has to surrender position, putting him down into 8th place. Keep in mind, this was the man in 2nd position not too long ago. But further back, this is going to be a road course debut for the rookie 48 of Will Cloud. Did attend a few races last season. Has made a few notable highlights this season as well. Hopefully he'll be returning full-time next season. He's got Pierce Graphics as his primary sponsor here. He's going to be racing for keep racing. Ashton Ricky also on his road course debut. Oh, a terrible time to rejoin to him. I'm so sorry, Ashton. But he's on his road course debut and overall has been doing a pretty good job of being able to hold it together and going forward as he's about to get past here. Put a lap down by Jeffrey Belk. If you are not a road course racer, road courses are a very, very tricky thing to do. If you are not watching with young ones, you can of course go and watch the in-car replay of Road America. So Jeffrey Beck comes up to try and pass. I think he's going to be waiting just that little bit. Hopefully Ashton will stay wide out here. He does not, making this a bit difficult for your leader to get by then, okay. But yeah, as I said, if you're not watching with younger kiddos, then feel free to go ahead and watch the in-car replay from Road America, where I actually was able to race in that event due to some broadcast software issues. But you can really see the challenge that is a road course in that race. But if you really want to see some challenging road course racing, let's go ahead and follow along with the inside cockpit view here of Stephen Black as you complete a lap here at Road America. Wide there off of 1. That's an off track for him there. Iverson has been very stingy about that one recently. Traffic is very important down here through the back stretch as we enter the inner loop, otherwise known as the bus stop. By Drake ahead. He's going to look to the inside, gets the door slammed in on him. Very careful with the throttle control here throughout the loop. This is a very desperate time for it. Coming off the exit of the loop, does not choose to use the runoff as Ashton Ricky pulls off to the side to let these two by. Hard on the throttle down through the chute into turn number 6. Slow on the brakes, so we got off there. Paget Coluccio moving to the outside to give him some room as Coluccio rides the bottom. Come back down. Coluccio hopefully stays out to the top. Oh, pulls down to the bottom. Let him by. And that's a lap here at Watkins, Glen. You can see it is a handful the entire time, especially turn number 1 here. We're on a downhill, trying to break into this high bank turn. Oh, very close to Drake there. These two are, and I know that Drake has been looking for that podium for a very long time. There it is. It's going to be Stephen Black looking down to the inside. Does he have the run for it? That's the question. No, he does not. Slams the door, Richard Drake does, onto Stephen Black now as they roll through the outer loop. Snellgrove able to get by Riki and Lucio. Alright, as we were watching that, Stephen Black was able to come by off the exit and down through the chute to get to the lead now as they roll through turn number 7. Not enough room there, and not a good enough exit there for the 41 of Richard Drake to keep second. That is going to be second place to Stephen Black. That scrap, though, has given enough time for Jeffrey Belk to try and run away with this thing. Back up for just a little bit to 5 seconds of a gap ahead, but that time has been slowly dropping behind between your second and third place between them. But it looks like the S's are definitely in a strong place there for Jeff. Look at the gap that he's been able to create. I mean, absolutely insane. Jeffrey Belk is just on another level when it comes to the speed that he has at these road courses sometimes. I say sometimes, but he was the driver that won the Road America race. The 2 road courses here in the CASCAR Series schedule, 1 in the playoffs and 1 not. That means we are coming to a close very soon for our season. So keep a close eye out for over the next several weeks for the next few races. A short track will be our next race, I believe, at Iowa. On a redemption arc to win, Jeffrey Belk is, after an unfortunate accident last season throughout the S's, where he spun at the top and thankfully did not get hit by anyone. But he just was not able to have a recovering pace after. Was not able to have a recovering pace, unfortunately. Apologies for the short interruption there. As we continue to roll through, 2 laps to go. Stephen Black has been able to close in ahead, though. Let's see what our battle forecast has to say about that one. 47 laps, yeah, I believe that. Huge gap, though, that is between the two. And last time I checked, the difference between 31 technically and 29 is not 47. Took a bit of our weather here. Thankfully, the track temperature has been on the cool down during practice. It was at 117 degrees Fahrenheit here at Watkins, Glen in New York. Very hot place sometimes. Can't confirm that one. It's a bit unseasonably warm summer, depending on where you're at and the daily weather. Very believable. Still 100 degrees track temperature. That means the track is quite slick. That's why you've been seeing a lot of these guys have their rear ends kick out on them, is that is just something that is very difficult to control. Well, here we are, though, on the white flag of the stage. It's been Jeffrey Belk ever since that caution, and Rob Carl was not able to hold on to the lead, that Jeff was able to capitalize and take it away as he rolls through the inner loop now, able to hold on to it, basically for dear life, with how long you have to, stick it through there. As he rolls through the outer loop now, heading down through the chute, does he take the runoff? No. Interesting decision. However, it is off camber through there, which does mean you're turning right while the road is trying to turn you left, so it's not too surprising that some of these guys don't want to take it, especially when you've had such a great run and you have time to spare. It doesn't matter. Out of turn number 7, it's going to be Jeffrey Belk taking away the stage win here in CASCAR at the WEAG Designs at the Glen. I just heard an accident somewhere. I don't know who that was. Apparently it might have been Matt Malavagna, or maybe Ashton, I don't know. But yes, Jeffrey Belk takes away on that one. Actually, did get a glimpse about who that was. Mandel? No? I don't know who that was. It wasn't Paul, although something did happen to him. Is that Will? It might have been. I don't know. Still, Jeffrey Belk is going to be your stage winner, and we're going to be right back and see what we can find out that was that spun there. So I'm fascinated to know. Unfortunately, it was Matt Malavagna there who did get into that incident. You can see they're off of in turn number 1. We can rewind just a little bit there. Did stay out of the way for your leaders there. A very courteous thing to do, as you do not want to be the man involved in that and making anybody's life difficult. But you can see right there that it was a simple case of just locking up a bit too much, turning just a little bit too hard, and getting absolutely devastated because of it. A common thing that happens, especially here at Watkins Glen, where I said before, that high camber there into turn number 1, I mean, it really does just drop off into the wall. Stays down there, thankfully for everybody else, though. Make sure they are able to complete their laps. But as I said, though, it's going to be Jeffrey Belk taking away the stage win here in the CASCAR Short Diplomacy Cup Series. To come down, they're going to be doing their pit stops next time by. We like to customarily wait for that after an unfortunate incident, not just for Jeff, but over several drivers last season, where before pitting interviews has led to some issues when it came to speeding on pit road and a few other problems. So to avoid such incidents, we are going to make sure that we do not do that for all these drivers. Stephen Black, though, this is a good sight for him to see that rear bumper of the 55 as he has been looking to get back up there and put on a good show for everybody out here. Richard Drake as well, though, as all these guys, as they're going to come in, they're going to take full fuel, full tires, everything they can to get their cars in the best working state they can so they can put on a good show towards the end of this race. Your top 5 for your stage: Belk, Black, Drake, Snellgrove, and Fradian. You can remember that way earlier on, Brian Fradian, after that initial high incident yellow that we had throughout the S's, after that yellow, he unfortunately spun himself into turn number 1 and got himself sent to 11th place. So for the stage, he was able to go on a tear and got himself back up into 5th. A very impressive drive out of him so far. I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do heading forward. Like I said, though, I expect just about everybody to roll down pit road, and there it is. You can see just about everybody heading down there. Scalibring up the rear of the field on that one. Currently two cars, I would say, out of this race. Paul Ems and Michael Sparks. Michael Sparks just got himself a new team, Mooselander Racing. Unfortunately, I don't think this is the debut for his team, even though it was technically a last race that he wanted, especially with his teammate Ashton Rieke, who have had a very rough race this entire event. Alright, with that, though, that has allowed several drivers to go in, as many now go on by as well. Rolling onto the pits, it's going to be Jeffrey Belk. Be behind Will Cloud, it looks like, on this restart, but I mentioned next time. So, with that one, we're going to grab Jeffrey Belk and see what his thoughts are and how this race has been going. Jeff's open the book, dear, read me.
Yeah, how you doing, Noah?
I'm doing quite well, but I imagine you must be doing even better able to get yourself another stage win here in the CASCAR Short Diplomacy Cup Series.
Stage win is one thing. Let's just hope I don't do like last season.
I'm sure it's a little bit of PTSD getting the stage win, and you're going to be having the front row again.
Hey, very much so.
Aside from that, though, what is your biggest worry going forward?
Honestly, Drake, Black, and Freddie Ann, they're all really quick, and I got lucky because I was able to get a gap before they started pulling on me.
I definitely understand. However, when it comes to road course drivers here, a lot of the names you just named are the ones that have the most amount of experience, including yourself. So I think this is definitely going to be a good show for everybody as we all roll forward.
Yeah, it should be a good show. We got Black and Drake starting right behind me, and then Freddie Ann's only got Snellgrove in front of him before he's up there with us.
So we're going to have a big battle of the giants is what you're going to be saying.
Yeah, it appears to be that way.
What's going to be your strategy rolling forward? Do you have enough fuel to make it to the end?
No one's got enough fuel, even trying to fuel save. We're like 8 or 7 laps short, so it's going to be at least one more stop, depending on if we get any more cautions. Really just trying to save his tires as much as we can, try to not get loose going up the S and stuff like that.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Well, Jeff, thank you much for your time, and congratulations on the stage win. Who do you have to thank for tonight's great race car?
As always, I've got to thank 4 Click Media, Equipment Geek Racing, Equipment Geek in general, WEAG Designs for the amazing paints they put together. You, as always, for broadcasting, everyone out there for tuning in.
All right, thank you much for your time, Jeff, once again, and congratulations on the stage win.
Thank you very much.
Number 55, Jeffrey Belk, going to be taking the second place off of this start. It's going to be Will Cloud taking the lead off of this one. Let's go ahead and grab him real quick. We can give him a super fast interview. Will, Snow in the booth. Do you read me?
I hear ya.
Number 48, you're going to be taking the lead on this next restart. You did not go into the pits, did you?
No, I pit before the stage ended because, I mean, stage points don't matter to me, so might as well try something different.
Hey, it makes a lot of sense. You're in a great position, though, as long as you have some fairly fresh tires.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can hold it somewhat up here. Even if it's not the lead, just maybe a top 5 or 6, I'll be happy with.
So, a non-playoff driver making this very interesting and very stressful for playoff drivers. Sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it?
You know. I'll race them clean, though, so they should not have anything to worry about.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Will, you've done a fantastic job here on your road course debut with the CASCAR Short Olympic Cup Series. What are your thoughts?
I've been doing my goal, which was to not wreck in turn 1, so I'm happy right now.
All right. Well, thank you much for your time, and good luck going forward.
All right, thank you.
Number 48 of Will Cloud in the Fierce Graphics Toyota Camry. Will be alongside teammate of Jeffrey Belk. As they roll down the chute, going to be starting very soon. Very interesting strategy for him to play like that. However, I'm not too surprised. He actually did get his first stage win at Michigan off of fuel mileage. And as he said, stage points in general do not matter. You don't need them to at all. So, all right, now as we're in that short gap between 6 and 7, now in turn number 7, it's going to be a great race here to the end in the CASCAR Schroeder Plumbing Cup Series. Of course, got to give a huge thank you to Schroeder Plumbing now as we head through the front stretch, and it's going to be Will Cloud taking the green flag. Good start out of our leaders there as the 55 and 48 head into turn number 1. Will's got that inside line. However, the better line technically is that outside diving in, and Will just did not have it. It's going to be Jeffrey Belk out to the lead already, and caution flies. Who wrecked? Ooh, Brandon Fiedler caught up in an accident there. Be right back and see what happened. Alright, apologies for the wait. This has been a very weird one trying to get in order. So we're following along now as it looks like Ashton Rieke and Matt Malavagna take it very slow off of the start. Malavagna's got the bottom. Rob goes for a pass on Coluccio. 39 comes down, hoping to make something of it, but just, oh, and he locks up and starts spinning around. Too much brake bias towards the rear, and oh, slammed by his teammate into the wall. Unfortunate there on turn number 1 for the 39 team. Brandon Fiedler, 921 Mobile DJ, Schroeder Plumbing, all the guys on that car are surely disappointed. Same with West Gallo, WEAG Designs, and Burnside Brews. Unfortunate for them. Very tough start. that is not going to be making things any easier, and I'm sure that a lot of them are, pretty upset about that one, especially Brandon. He was on a very rough race so far today, so getting sent off to like that is surely a bit devastating. Well, looking at your start now, it's going to be Jeffrey Belk and Will Cloud beginning off once again. Stephen Black's going to be putting a lot of pressure, and Richard Drake, of course, behind them. Let's go bring up somebody we have not in a while. Kyle Mundell. That's a good idea. Kyle's home in the booth. They read me.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. You must be doing pretty good, though, as you've been able to have a pretty steady race.
I don't think I've been in the top 5, no. I think I've been out of it most of the time.
I mean, you've been able to keep the car straight, though. You were only involved in one incident, and that wasn't your fault.
Oh, that was unfortunate. I didn't see what was going on. It just looked like I was running into a no-win situation from my point of view.
Yeah. Still, I mean, you're in a pretty good spot right now, though.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know what other people are thinking here. I got my own idea of what's happening, but I didn't even we're just kind of cruising here at this point. The new race, what, maybe 21 to go?
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I would say it's a very, interesting position to be in right now. I mean, you're just got eliminated out of the playoffs, and you now have the ability to contend for a decent race. I mean, this is a road course. This is something you're pretty good at.
Yeah, and so I'm always going to try and win here, but at the same time, I know that I can't cause someone else's race to end that might have bigger, I don't know, bigger aspirations than I can achieve, but I'm still going to try and win it here. I'm not going to give up yet. Still fun here. I'm still competing, right?
Yeah. What's going to be your strategy going forward?
I'm wondering if people think they can make it here. I don't know, because we barely made it in stage 1, and that was a lap behind caution. So I'm thinking I'm just going to probably, after green flag starts here, I might try and hit, target maybe 49 or 50, and then get new tires. I think tires will be a bigger factor than fuel.
Okay. Well, Kyle, thank you much for your time. I certainly do appreciate it. Who do you have to thank for your race car here tonight?
iRacing, Chevy, Movember, Waterloo Brewing, Sharon, and of course yourself for podcasting.
All right. Well, Kyle, thank you very much once again, and good luck.
Cheers. Thanks, Noah.
Number 34, Kyle Mundell. We'll bring it up in 5th place. Jeffrey Belk has made a very interesting decision, I think, let's see his penalties, where he is choosing to fully keep refueling up his car so he can make it more and more towards the end. They said they were 7 or 8 laps short. Yep, that's a top off right there is what that looks like. Huh. Let's put some further down the order, but that does change up the fuel strategy. Interesting decision to be made at that. Will Cloud, though, that means he is going to be the one starting on pole. I think Stephen Black is looking to take a similar strategy to those guys. That puts Brian Fradian up into the 2nd row and 4th. Richard Drake onto the front row, and Greg Snellgrove also in the 2nd row. Your top 4 guys up here, all quick on the road courses. Some of the guys further behind, not so much, but are currently in a pretty good spot to get some good positions in and continue to push. 2 cars out of this race, Paul Ems and Michael Sparks. And it's, in reality, not too much to go here at Watkins Glen, the historic old Formula 1 track. People say bring back F1 here. That's a very dangerous idea. Don't believe me, try driving the actual F1 car here on the iRacing.com service, the Mercedes W12. Yeah, W12E. Try bringing that around here. You'll understand why. Regardless, though, it's going to be a very great, really 8-car pony coming off to the start, putting on a great show. Thank you, of course, to Pierce Graphics, who puts together our overlay package. Schroeder Public, who gives us our fantastic Cup Series and playoffs. And to WEAG Designs, giving us tonight's race. We leave turn number 7. The Ireson.com official pace truck is going to pull off as Will Cloud is going to be taking the green flag. Now, there it is. Racing down into turn number 1 they go. Look at that start out of the 48 team this time by. Look at that. They got the lead. Richard Drake going to be chasing behind. Fredienne as well. Now back up to the top 3. Brian Fredienne, we know, not just from previous experience here at Watkins Glen, but from already we can tell this race is a weapon. Team already diving down there onto the 41 and Drake doesn't have enough. Slams the door. Richard Drake does there onto Brian Fredienne. As we leave the inner loop heading through the outer now. It's a bit of a gap already starting to form between your top 3 and 4th position. However, Greg Snowgrove won't be letting that happen too much on his time. Let's see there in that wild card Chevrolet. He's currently the highest placing Chevrolet ahead of... That is a good lock up there for the 81. Almost collides into the 22 there. Wow, I think this is a very high stress situation there for the 81 team. That allows Will Cloud to maintain the lead and continue to start growing a gap just a little bit, but Richard Drake is going to be close behind. Running through turn number 1 they go. What a great turn there out of Richard Drake. Absolutely able to have a lot of speed. There he goes to the inside of Will Cloud. He's going to take it away. Will's going to be right there behind him, though, and here out of the S's in the next turn, it is going to be an advantage to Cloud. He's going to have the draft. I see Will Cloud to our viewers at home that do not know he has a second name. That is Billy Stratus. There are some loving friends and teammates for Will that want to make his day just that little bit more interesting, of course, on the name rail. Billy Stratus as well. You can see just how close he is, though, to Drake ahead. We're going to head on to the inside cam and see how this is going for him. Racing down into turn number 6. It looks like Drake definitely has a bit of an advantage there. Good exit, though, off the turn. Allows it to be interesting. This is the great racing you'll love to see. This is it from the driver's perspective as we head through the front stretch. Coming down the inside already, a bit of an early move, but that isn't the decisions you have to make sometimes. Can he take turn number 1? This has been his struggle point of the entire race, and it looks like he can't do it still. Bit hard on the throttle off of 1 as he heads through the S's now. Drake starting to get a bit of a gap ahead as Muddell begins to close in from behind. That's right, Kyle Muddell in 3rd position. Whoa, almost a spin there for Cloud. High stress situation as Kyle Muddell dives up on the inside. Can he take away 3rd? Not yet. As Brian Fredienne was able to get himself back up into 4th position. He is riding that rear bumper of the 34 Movember Chevrolet. Through the outer loop they go. Just look how close Brian Fredienne is to these guys. And there it is, Stephen Black coming back up from 8th position, now into 6th, putting the pressure on Greg Snowgrove to get these positions back. Still keeping it to the rear of that car, but it's not enough. Mundell continues to chase down Cloud for 2nd. This is giving a chance for Richard Drake in the number 41, who has not won a race in quite a while. I believe Richmond was his own. Oh, it's almost a spin there on a Mundell as he crosses the curbing there on turn number 1. That allows Fredienne to aggressively make his move up into 3rd. Bold choice there for Brian Fredienne to make an aggressive move like that. He knows that Kyle is hungry for a win. He's wanted it all this time. He's got his teammate Will Cloud ahead. Will put up a defense, or will he let him by? The defending race winner on the tear. Can he take it away? That will be tonight's question, as there's not really too much time left in this race to go. Turn 7 we go. Stephen Black looking to make a move on Greg Snowgrove as well. Got a lot of fires right now. Out of the way, Will Cloud goes over for Brian Freddy and his teammate. He's going to let him go. That puts Fradian up into second now. It's now a chase between Fradian and Drake ahead. Let's go and take a look at our battle forecast. Similar pace currently predicted between the two. We're going to check back in with that in a little bit, now that Brian is not held up. Continuing to chase down Greg Snowgrove. It is not working out in his favor. Liddell looking a little bit slower than I think he'd like. Cloud still has third position. Almost a big kick in the rear out there for the 22 Snowgrove. High-stress situation for many of these drivers. This is where all of the marbles come out. Who can get what positions and how fast. Watkins, a track where it is difficult to pass. That much is known for sure. It was discussed by a few drivers before. There, on Snowgrove onto Mundell, but he can't keep it up, and this is going to allow Stephen Black behind. We jump over to his car now as he continues to try to chase down. A lot of grip is now being lost between these cars as those rear-end tires have been kicking up a lot of wheel spin. And it looks like Brian Fradian does not yet have the pace to chase down Richard Drake in front. He's been able to create a gap between himself and Cloud behind, but has not closed in enough to drink ahead. Using that runoff to get some extra pace there out of the outer loop. Your top 5 have been putting on a fantastic show tonight here at the WEAG Designs at the Glen. A little bit further back, we're seeing Jeffrey Bell currently sitting 8th. Remember, this was your Stage 1 winner. We know he has a lot of pace built up into that car, but I don't think it's quite enough to really catch up to your drivers up in front, but that is where that fuel strategy he had keeps in mind. He came down pit road just for that top up, and it can make all the difference in these next few laps when these guys will not have enough fuel to make it to the end, but it will be a close one. This is where the tire saving strats really become the important thing. If you can keep your tires in a good enough condition towards the end of this race, you can make your pit stops that much faster. Stephen Black has gotten by currently his biggest challenge yet, the 22 of Greg Snowgrove. He now has to close up to Kyle Mundell, the driver ahead. Will Cloud in his road course debut with his different tire strategy has been able to maintain a 3rd place after starting from the lead on the last restart. Been doing a fantastic job of keeping it there and will not be surrendering the position to anyone as best as he can. A lot of speed there coming off the exit, and Brian Fradian heads down pit road. Will Cloud resumes 2nd place as now Kyle Mundell begins to close in ahead. Those are those fuel strategies coming into play for some of these drivers who really want to make sure they undercut as much as they can. Closing in now for Mundell as he's able to have a better turn 1 exit, but it's still way far back, and that has been allowing Richard Drake to really begin to run away with this race. The 41 Laker News Kinetic Toyota Camry has been able to put on one heck of a show here tonight at Watkins Glen. For tonight's race, I absolutely have to give a huge thank you, of course, over to Schroeder Plumbing. They are a family-run company that's been in business for over 50 years in the southeastern Wisconsin area. They specialize in residential new construction and remodeling plumbing services. They also work with several local builders, or they work with individuals hoping to build their dream home or do their home Modeling. You can give them a call at their office number. That is 262-971-0401. That number, once again, is 262-971-0401. Schroeder Plumbing. Also, of course, have to give a huge thank you to not only Pierce Graphics, but the sponsor of tonight's race, WEAG Designs, who've been able to put on a fantastic show for us here tonight, but always do a great job with all of their work. And several of the cars you're seeing tonight are designed by them, including this number 48 Pierce Graphics Toyota Camry. Another driver that has a WEAG Designs paint here tonight, it's the number 34 Kyle Liddell. Currently now sitting in second place. Recently tuned in. You've missed a lot of action here in tonight's race. Many driver fights as you're now watching, as many drivers are now pitting in to take a new fuel strategy to see how far they can push their vehicles. Those drivers that have been able to save a lot of fuel, and we know can, such as drivers like Michael Jennings, it might be an advantage to really gain a lot of time in the next race. Richard Drake has been able to lead many laps since he was able to secure the lead away from Will Cloud. And he now has a dominant, almost 3-second gap between himself and second place of Kyle Medell as he now slows down to head down pit road. Kyle Medell chooses to stay out, and it's going to be his first laps led of the night for the number 34 Chevrolet. I'm sure he's happy about those ones. Rob Carl also chooses to stay out, as does Jeffrey Belk. We know that Jeff is on a different fuel strategy, however, so it's not surprising to see him out. The question is can Jeff make it to the end, or is he playing it very safe to try to push it as much as he can later? That will be tonight's question, as they're still side by side as they battle for second position. Ahead goes Jeffrey Belk, ahead of Rob Carl, finally able to make that pass from the two. By, it's going to be Wes Gallo in the 07 bringing up fourth position. Brian Fredian way further back. You can see back there. Burnside Brews is on the side of the 07 here tonight at Watkins Glen, showing some local New York support there from Wes Gallo. Another driver showing their New York support has to be Michael Jennings. He's making sure that volunteer firefighters get their due and hopefully get some fresh recruitment as well here in New York State. April 23rd and 24th. Oh, into the wall goes the 86. Oh, and down the side he goes. Oh, hard on the gas. He's going to hopefully stay out of the way as drivers are coming. Very close. But he wants to make sure that people know that they can answer the call and be the people that save lives in New York State. April 23rd and 24th. Check out at your local volunteer firefighter station. Do it for Jennings, who unfortunately had some bad timing there with that incident. Medell continues to maintain the lead, though, as Richard Drake comes by to unlap himself. Jeffrey Belk still has second position. Rob Carl hit in earlier. Wes Gallo now sitting in third. Ready up to fourth. Stephen Black also on a tear, is able to get by Will Cloud now for fifth. Both these drivers have already pit in. Steven is absolutely on the move. He has been trying very hard to put up a competitive race this time around. As Medell continues to lead here at Watkins Glen, we're coming out of turn number 6, now in through 7. Does he stay down? He does, into the pits there for Kyle Medell. Jeffrey Belk is now in second place. Now how long can he stay out, and will it be towards the end? I don't know if he has enough fuel to make it. I do doubt it. But it'd be Jeff to really have a lot of some extra information we don't know. A lot of off the gas time, it sounds like, as they roll through turn at number 1. And then number 55 for Luke Minya team. Wes Gallo also chooses to stay out. We did see him with Jeff staying out way earlier back. The last lap of the caution. All those laps back. Brian Fredian is now up into third as well. Runs way wide there off of turn number 1. He has got himself a quite a gap between himself and Steve. But but the biggest gap, of course, has to be between Belk and Black there. 25 seconds, but all the way back to Patrick Colicchio all the way back to Matt Malavagna, over a minute back. Over on to be on the same lap, though. That would be 62 seconds back. Jeez. The recovery that Jeffrey Belk has made on this new fuel strategy is absolutely incredible. Across the line this time, it's 10 to go here at the WEAG Designs at the Glen. Driver's very spaced out now. This is the strategy call. Did you choose the right one is the main question. Running wide off the turn number 1 there for the number 3 of Matt Malavagna. Not a road course racer. He's said it before, and you gotta feel a little bit bad for those kind of guys. Just struggles with that. And you know, road racing is one of those very tricky things to get. Especially, you know, stock car road racing. I mean, these cars are just so heavy, they do not want to slow down. They really don't want to accelerate sometimes either. They don't want to turn, they're just bricks. They're trying to throw around a tight road course. And I will say, from our perspective viewer, to you and I, this is a fantastic thing to watch, watching these guys struggle to get around here. But it takes a lot of talent to do it. So I think with some more time, a lot of these guys can just continue to get better. But like I said, within time, it takes a lot of practice to get good at this stuff. That applies to road race, oval racing too. Keep that in mind. Les Gallo maintains a 2nd place. Jeffrey Belk continues to lead here at Watkins Glen. Brian Fradian clings on to 3rd, as you can see. Steve Black beginning to close in behind. There's Will Cloud currently sitting in 5th position. His road course debut for the CASCAR Short Only Cup Series runs wide off of turn number 6 there. But for a road course debut, I don't think you can be too upset with a 5th place. Here's Kyle Lundell, the number 34 Chevrolet. Turn number 1. Tyler Hallahan has been doing a very interesting job here tonight. We know that in practice he was certainly very fast, but now that he's been able to get inside the top 10, he's got some room around him. I think this is the time to make some big gains on his teammate ahead, if there is time to do so. He's got a big gap to his teammate in front, currently sitting in 8th. You can see the big gap between these two. But if this is the time to close in for Tyler, this is it. There in the, see the moose there on the side. Bruce the Moose for the Moose Machine. Unfortunately, it looks like one driver is potentially out of the, not potentially out of this race. Brendan Fiedler and Michael Jennings out. Wesley out of Rob Carl there in the 2. Uh-oh, got the 22 nearby in this game. Still, between these guys, we know that Rob has been very fast. He's had a great season when it comes to playoff points, but not a great season overall. Had a lot of trouble before the playoffs began. And now he's been on a tear, trying to get himself in a competitive spot once again. Currently sitting 3rd in the Playoffs Points Championship. However, in terms of the Playoff Points Championship, Greg Snowgrove is currently sitting 2nd to last. He needs a better race this time around. Currently, the only playoff driver out of this race is Brandon Fiedler. Current furthest car back in the playoffs, Richard Drake. It's going to be Jeffrey Belk continuing to lead here at Watkins Glen. I think that fuel strategy was a very interesting call to make, and if he can make it to the end, this will be an absolute dominant performance out of Jeffrey Belk in the redemption, not recovery, redemption he's been looking for this past season. He had a great race last season at Watkins Glen and completely threw it away unintentionally at the top of the S's. Brian Fradian, though, your defending race winner. Oh, look, he's got his hood back. There for the 81 Victos Toyota Camry. Like I said, defending race winner, this is the time to shine. He's got a lot of ground to make up to the car in front, though. Let's see what our battle forecast says between the two. How long will it be? 6 laps. Oh, 0 overtake difficulty. That's mean. Keep in mind that these race insights that are powered by Pierce Graphics are not completely accurate projections. They are an estimation. They're just that, projections. Take them always with a grain of salt, and keep in mind that, you know, all this stuff is done by the computer. We do not have a whole team behind us that put in, you know, the difficulty sliders and all that stuff, and the math in this case has just come out to be me. Still, that's a very close run to the end, though. I think it's going to be a close battle for second, if that is accurate. With Wes Gallo still holding on to second position, your top 3, if it can be an EG 1, 2, 3, I think they'll be very happy with that. Running wide off of turn 1, though, for Fradian will not be helping his chances of trying to catch up to second. Cloud, though, still holds on to 5th, but just barely, as it's going to be Kyle Medell coming in to try to steal that away very shortly. This is your closest battle on track we have, so we're going to be right here watching it. Closing in very close. Mundell is going to the in-car view and see what that looks like. Welcome down. We got to go outside. Never mind. Come back to the in-car later. Backside of that one does not want to get himself involved in an accident with Cloud there now as they leave the inner loop, now heading through the outer. 6 laps is all we have left. Using that runoff area, just that little bit, helps a lot with your pace. Slide there out of the 48. These two, this is a high-pressure situation. Mundell needs to break into the top 5. Cloud wants to hold him up as much as he possibly can to get as many points as possible. Well, Cloud is currently sitting second in the Rookie Championship, and if he can get himself up into the lead... Uh-oh, some internet popping there out of the 34 of Kyle Mundell. Cloud still holds on to it. Currently the leader of the Rookie standings is Michael Sparks, as he's been able to attend every single race. Trying to get himself back up into that spot, but that's a lot of points to make up within a short amount of time. Still a battle between these guys, though, and it looks like Will Cloud has been able to gain just that little bit of a gap he needs. Along with your leader, Jeffrey Belk, now as we come out of turn number 7 to head down your front stretch. As you can see, the Go Bowling signs behind. Across the line. Oh, man. 4 laps to go is all it's going to be. We hear a lot of saving, though, out of Jeff. Does not want to get himself involved in an accident. Uh-oh. Wes Gallo appears to have himself involved in an incident as he's now down into 4th. He did not follow along with that one. Did not see that. Brian Fradian up in his second position. He's got a 5-second gap between himself and Stephen Black behind. If he has enough fuel to make it to the end, he'll have just enough in time. Jeffrey Belk has a 10-second gap, but that's not enough for a pit stop. All right, now is Will Cloud, who continues to lead ahead of Mundell. He begins to close into Wes Gallo ahead. He goes down to the inside. Can this be it for Will Cloud? It's definitely in terms of pace. Cloud's up to 4th. Now Mundell has finally got himself into 5th. Like good, Will Cloud's been able to close it up to Steve Black ahead. That's 3 seconds. That's a lot. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. However, it's going to be a close battle for 4th now. Mundell, even though he's into the top 5, he finally was able to break that. He still wants to get into as many high positions as possible, but I think he's beginning to back off that a little bit. Will Cloud, look at the pace he has, though. Been very impressive in his debut for road course racing. 3 laps to go. And it's going to be Jeffrey Bell continuing to lead. Steve Black is the man to watch right now as he begins to close into your leaders ahead. How long will it take is the question. Is Mundell was able to shoot it very far deep there onto Cloud, able to take away the position into 4th. Look at that. I turned away for a second. Kyle Medell up into 4th position. I feel like I'm sure he's very proud of that. Able to soar by and get 4th. Lucia moves out of the way for these guys. This is Cloud's attempt now. He has to close in as much as possible, but it is a tricky one. Kyle Medell is a great road course racer. I think out of your bottom 3, in terms of your playoff points, I don't think these guys are happy at all. Richard Drake currently saying he's able to just get past now into, well, he wasn't nice, but Hallahan is able to fight back for it for now. I think that himself, Drake, well, Hallahan, Drake, or Snell are happy about the position they're in at all. However, someone that must be very happy about their position must be Jeffrey Bell, because he's on lap number 59 of 60. That means 2 to go. Across the line, next time it'll be the white flag here at Watkins Glen as we approach the end of our night here for the WEAG Designs at the Glen. A fantastic race we've had. The winding laps have definitely calmed down in the last bit, but they've been able to put on a fantastic show for us. That much is for absolutely certain. As Stephen Black has been gaining massively on Brian Fradienne ahead, but I don't think he has the pace to get it. It's a big gap. Oh, trouble for Wes Gallo there. Looks like he's very slow. Does not have that top end pace as Rob Carl and Greg Snowgrove both fight by. Gallo currently sitting 4th, so middle of the championship in terms of points right now. So getting set further back is not the ideal. However, it could be worse. And there it is, the white flag, lap 60 of 60 here in the CASCAR Schroeder Plumbing Cup Series at our last road course of the season. It's Watkins Glen, and Jeffrey Belt has taken the white flag. Let's see what he can do now on this last lap. We're going to follow along and see what it's like here on a very lonely last lap. Many of your drivers are very spaced out. Uh-oh. That is some very heavy fuel-saving tactics if I've ever heard them. Turns off the engine to run through the turns. This is a desperate attempt to make it to the end. Can he make it? I believe he will. It's a close one regardless, and it's going to be out of turn number 6 now. We go through the short stretch between 6 and 7, now through the final turn here at Watkins Glen up the hill to go through the front stretch. It's going to be Jeffrey Belk winning. He completed his redemption at Watkins Glen and takes the checkered flag. Jeffrey Belk wins here at the WEAG Designs at the Glen. Brian Fradienne with a large gap to Stephen Black, but I say large, but with a gap behind to Stephen Black, takes home 2nd place. Stephen Black crossing the line for 3rd. Kyle Mundell crosses for 4th. And Will Cloud rounds it out at 5th. Your top 5, Belk, Fradienne, Black, Mundell, and Cloud. A great race for all of these guys. I don't think there's enough fuel left in the tank for the 55 machine to do some burnouts, much to his dismay. But that is a 3rd win this season for the 55 team. Medell comes by. I'm sure hand out the window and waving. Able to finish in 4th. A great run for him. Yeah, I don't think there's enough fuel left in the tank for Jeff there. Still, Brian Fradienne able to secure himself a glorious 2nd place finish. Not able to hold on to his race win here at Watkins Glen, but a 2nd place, however, allows him to put on a great show. I wonder if he's trying to make it to the front stretch to do burnouts if he's saving fuel, but I don't think he is. Ashton Regie in his road course debut, as well as finished in 12th. Oh, he might be here to give Jeff some help. Oh, how kind. Wow, what an event. A dominant performance out of Belk. and a great job done by just about everybody in the field, able to put on a great show. Not sure what's going on over there with Freddie Ann. Dill comes in. Oh, looks like wow. West Gallo runs out of fuel as well, getting a push from good friend Patrick Coluccio. Let's go and bring up your third place finisher, Stephen Black. If we can find him. It looks like Steve ran away. Never mind. Cannot bring up Stephen Black as he is not here. Alright. So let's go and bring up your second place finisher, I guess then. Brian Freddie Ann. Brian, just open the book. There you'd be.
Hey, Noah.
Well, you weren't able to win twice in a row here at Watkins Glen, but you were able to secure yourself a second place finish. How did your race go here tonight?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not happy with the outcome of this race. I made too many mistakes. Jeff made the right strategy call. I really wanted to win this race for Nana, and I'm unbelievably disappointed that I wasn't able to do that.
I can definitely hear in your voice that this is a very serious thing for you, and you really did want to put on a good show and win this race. I mean, you put on a fantastic drive. I mean, I don't think I can say that enough. I mean, the speed you had in your car tonight was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that makes it even more aggravating is because I know I was the fastest driver out here. I wasn't able to put it together, and due to my own errors, and it's just frustrating. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I understand, but like I said, it's still a great job, and I think you'll get your chance soon enough again. But
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, but I get that frustration though, especially when you want to, really. I don't know how to word that.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But yeah, it's just frustrating. So on to the next one, right?
Exactly, but still a great run. I mean, what was your high point of the run, do you think?
Qualifying on pole, and if we would have went caution free, I would have ran away with it, and that would have been really nice. But it is what it is. Dragging myself back up from 11th to fourth or fifth at the stage was an okay consolation prize. Yeah.
I mean, you say okay, but this is Watkins Glen, a track that's notoriously difficult to pass at and is narrow. And
yeah,
between yourself and everybody else that was there, between 11th and 4th, you had a lot of fast cars in front of you.
Yeah. I just knew to be aggressive, and today was one of those. I was willing to move people if needed. I'm gonna be honest.
Would you have moved your teammate for the win?
Absolutely. Today, yes.
I get it.
Yeah. For today and today only, I would have, yes.
All right. Well,
yep.
a great job done by you, Brian. I can't say that enough, and congratulations on the second. I know you're not happy with it, but
yeah,
it needs to be said.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I just want to say thank you real quick to my parents, my wife, Nana and Poppy, Aunt B, Uncle Cliff, all of my family members that watch. It means a lot to me. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get the win today, but we'll go to the next one.
Yeah. Brian, thank you very much for your time, and I know well
thank
disappointed.
You.
Congratulations on the second place.
Thanks. Thank you.
Number 81, Brian Fradian. You can tell in his voice, absolutely devastated, but a great run that he had. Let's go and bring up the number 55 of Jeffrey Belk. Jeff, it's Nope in the booth. Do you read me?
Hey, Noah, how you doing?
Well, you pulled a Mr. Hybrid kind of move there and were able to get yourself to the win. on fuel strategy.
I know, it was so close. A tenth of a gallon. It's all I have left in it, Delon.
A tenth of a gallon.
Yes.
Wow. How? Explain.
We saw, I think it was Paul pull that off at Las Vegas last season. So I decided, since we had this long caution period, save as much as I could, come back in, come into one to green, take as much as I could, and just try to save. If you go to my onboard those last like 5 or 6 laps, there's parts of the track where I wasn't even on the throttle. I was completely clutch in, just trying to save every little bit I could.
On the last lap, we joined to the in-car view just for a little bit. As we were heading down the back stretch, I heard you completely cut the engine as you went through the inner loop.
No, we didn't cut the engine. We just slammed on that clutch all the way.
Sounded like the engine was going.
Surprise.
Still, absolutely incredible, not just in strategy, but I mean, you had a lot of pace built up tonight, too.
Yeah, thanks. Really, it came down to luck. We had that good pit stop. That just smart call, and then everyone else having to pit gave us what we needed.
It definitely worked out in your favor, and that much is for absolutely sure. What a chaotic race tonight, though. I mean, a lot of interesting events happened.
Yeah, I know we got involved in that first caution. That was just kind of wrong place, wrong time. I know a lot of other drivers having issues. I know Brandon had one right in front of me. I know Brian had his behind me earlier. Just a lot of people are having issues here. The cars don't want to grip up. It's literally just trying to save as much tire as you can for when you do need them.
I gotcha. I guess one of the questions I have to say is if somebody wanted to start stock car racing on a road course, especially here at Watkins Glen, what would be your key piece of advice?
Throttle control. Because these cars have no real aero like a GT3 car, it all comes down to your ability to control the throttle and the brake and not lock up and stuff like that. Because these are good with braking, but they will lock up if you try to ask too much of them. And throttle control just to keep the rear end from spinning as soon as you get on the throttle.
Right. Okay. That makes a lot of sense, and I think we can see a lot of that tonight with a lot of drivers that were struggling is trying to get your braking point and locking up versus being right on the edge, and throttle control, especially out of the S's.
Just the S's in general, because you're having so much weight go from side to side. The car never really wants to grip on the back end, so if you try to give it too much throttle, you'll feel the back end start to step out, and you're just having to correct the entire way through the S to try to save it around.
Right. Well, I do have to ask, what is your high point of tonight's race?
Pulling the Jennings strat and having it work out.
Okay, fair enough. Well, who do you think for such a great race car here tonight, Jeff?
Again, just as always, 4 Click Media, Equipment Geek, EGR, all my teammates, NASCAR Geek, Sports Star Shock, WEAG Designs for all the amazing paints they do, just not on myself, but, Wes, Brian, Brandon, Cody, Will, just a lot of cars here. It's like half Skylord Graphics and half WEAG Designs. They just all do an amazing job. You, as always, for broadcasting, and everyone out there for tuning in.
All right. Jeff, thank you much for your time once again, and congratulations on your race win.
Very much.
Number 55 of Jeffrey Belk, able to secure a fuel strategy win, but also a pretty quick win, too, here at Watkins Glen, the track that has been in business since 1956 as a permanent road course. And we had 7 turns of historic racing, absolutely cemented in virtual racing history as well. I want to thank you individually, the viewer, for turning out and watching tonight's race. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello, and thank you much for watching as well. It won't be too much longer until we rejoin next time as we begin to round out our championship here with the CASCAR Schroeder Plumbing Cup Series. Thank you, of course, to Schroeder Plumbing for giving us our fantastic Cup Series and our playoffs. You're right. Ashton, that's not completely correct, though. I just want to make sure you know. You actually did get some stream time earlier on, too. So, just so you know. You can watch back later, I promise. You did. and not just by proxy either. You actually did get some. Regardless, and of course, got to thank WEAG Designs for giving us our tonight's race, and for, as Jeff said, painting so many cars out in the field, who gives us, a great variety in fantastic looking cars out there. So thank you, of course, to Pierce Graphics as well, who puts together our overlay package and lets us put on these great races. And we'll see you all next time, I believe, at Iowa, to put on our next great race. And just, of course, because it's a New York tradition, I gotta let you know, visit the Corning Glass Museum. All right, we will see you all next time. Have a good one.